Lovely. Hello and welcome. It is my absolute joy and pleasure to present to you all the EM85. That's right, the SA80 is officially in the United States for the consumer market in the form of this, the EM85. L85, SA80, she is one-to-one. So today it is my pleasure, we're going to review this entire rifle, field stripping, go over all the details of it, and also along the way answer some questions that I myself have gotten on the project, the rifle, and the next steps. So first of all, I want to again welcome you all, grab a cup of tea, and let's review the EM85. So where to begin? As you all know, this is our very first pre-production prototype rifle, meaning things are only going to improve from here, and I could not be happier. Because this is our first pre-production rifle, this was basically the first time that we ever took the parts that we designed and we put them together for the first time. And the fact that this went together so smoothly, the stampings, the welding, all the other components with really next to no even hand filing and fitting, I couldn't be more proud. So again, this is just our very first. We're making the other three for testing. This has fired live rounds. We're going to show a little bit of that today. A blank gas off live round, and then a gas on live round, and then a gas on excess live round for you all today. With that said, this rifle in particular, this exact one, is not going under heavy testing because we have some shows that we're going to bring these to, and we want a rifle in as good a condition as possible, albeit one that of course functions and shoots, so we can confirm our spring math, our headspace, all that sort of thing. But the fact that this shoots, functions, looks the part, feels the part, I couldn't be more happy and proud. So before we even get started, I'd like to thank everyone who helped make this project possible. It's going to be a very exciting 2026. So as I said, pre-production prototype, and so you're going to see little, colorations off, tiny little things about it that of course are going to be absolutely refined by the final production version. So with that, let's discuss first the externals, the left and the right side, and then go into functionality, followed by field stripping, followed by shooting and closing. So let's first begin with the right side of the rifle. You see how I'm holding it is a very common way that British troops would, and it's very comfortable with the balance of the rifle. But let's discuss the right side. So beginning with the flash hider, this of course is made by us. I do want to preface before we begin, everything on this rifle is made by us, minus the handguard and the SUSAT and the cocking handle. Everything else is completely made by us. Those parts I've pointed out are of course original, which with your collector series EM85 you will get. And of course the magwell is an original Enfield magazine well stamped in Nottingham, England. So the flash hider, of course, made by us. This one we have to do just basically pin it into place to make it again visually correct, but pre-production prototype rifle, that wasn't a point that we had to focus on. This was all about, does it go together, does it look the part, does it fit, finish and function. The barrel, of course, custom made, custom profile. It is not an AR-15 profile. When we strip this down, we'll discuss some barrel details that we kept true to the original, even though it was more difficult. Over here, of course, we have our gas block right here, and then our gas key nestled inside there. The handguard, of course, is original. The trigger, this is an A2 or later trigger unit with the pointed rear to cut through dirt and snow. Coming over to the grip, of course, so this is ours. Again, this one is our prototype one, the ones you will receive. We made a very good way of making them. It's actually a method used in aviation. It will not be 3D printed. It will not be injection molded. It's going to be a modern technology used in aviation that is better than molding and not as, obviously far better than 3D printing as well. But very, very happy with it. Again, we have originals. This one is one-to-one, fits perfectly, is absolutely rugged. That's the one thing I want to say about this rifle, is everything on it is absolutely solid. So coming down from there, we have of course our trigger guard. Every way that this rifle goes together is exactly like the original. That was something that was really important to us, was we wanted this to go together like the original. And that meant taking manufacturing methods from, of course, the 60s and 70s, which just adds to it, because when you hold this rifle, even though it's new, it feels old. It's old technology. The safety selector is done the exact same way. The way that the trigger unit is placed, all of the stampings are exactly the same as the original. So that made it very challenging, because we didn't have, beyond the references we worked with, obviously the Royal Armories and originals, we had to almost remake the manufacturing and reamp the manufacturing methods used to make this rifle that are very uncommon and aren't used anymore. But when you do that, we've made a rifle that is indistinguishable from the original. So here, of course, we have a safety selector. This one is metal. The original on the earlier versions were plastic. Those would actually swell and get jammed. So we've gone with a higher quality metal one. That is part of the improved engineering that we've done to this rifle. Of course, S and F for safe and fire are of course engraved on the safety. And the safety, of course, works perfectly. Safety is on right now, doesn't fire. Safety off, and it fires. So coming along from the safety, on this side we have, of course, our trigger guard. This guy being a little bit loose simply because the center bolt goes through here, and again, prototype, we're constantly taking this thing apart. We haven't put that main screw through. Coming across, of course, we have our weld marks. So these weld marks are true to the original earlier versions. On the later ones, you're going to have C markings, and that was due to HK's improved weldings. But correct for the A2 is these weld patterns. The body of the receiver, which I'll talk about, your forward takedown pin, your, again, original Enfield magazine well, your fire control group takedown pins. You can see this one's a little bit short, again, part of the pre-production prototyping. Our bolt hold open, stock, rear takedown pin, sling swivel, our ejection port cover, bolt, and of course, cocking handle. And then on top, our ACOG with our, of course, correct Weaver rail, NATO rail system, which of course allows you to connect the SUSAT to it, and is very, very sturdy. And we haven't even zeroed it, and she's pretty much there already, which we're very happy with. So with that, let's continue talking about the rifle, some features. So the gas block in the front here will demonstrate it. You can actually use a HK cleaning tool. All of the diameters are absolutely correct. Even the gas key here has the exact same porthole sizes as the original gas keys. In fact, the EM85 can accept a original gas system, which is very, very fun. So right now we actually have an original piston in here. We can swap it out from Murdoch and Co, which we will do. Our gas rod inside there, and of course gas key that switches over to different selectors, which we'll demonstrate here shortly. Again, across the top of the rifle, let's talk about the stampings. So we are very, very bright. There you go, beautiful lighting. So we are very proud of these stampings. It took about 5, this is try number 6, to get them perfect, and then obviously we'll even perfect the molds for production. But we've actually, people think there was, these chaps said that we stole stampings from the MOD, and we take that as a compliment because it means we got them so perfect that people think there's no way they did this, they have to be MOD. Well, I'm here to tell you these are 100% our flats, our sheet metal dies, our molds, call them what you will, from laser cut sheet metal to the finished product here, it is all done by Murdoch and Co. I couldn't be more proud. Stamping is an art form, it takes an enormous amount of expertise, and we've had some gentlemen in England help us with that, which we couldn't be more grateful for. Now coming across to the other side of the rifle. So now coming across to the left side of the rifle, again on this side it's the same. We have our sling swivel set up in this direction, handguard, our safety with our fire, trigger, handguard, our SUSAT, you can see the gas system through the vent holes here, and then of course our front takedown pin, our magazine release catch with of course the later A2 handguard. One thing I'd like to note, ladies and gentlemen, is all of these little stampings are all ours. So it's not only the stampings for the receivers, the magazine wells for our production rifle, the internal stampings, every single stamp piece of metal on here has its own operations, its own stages. So even these right here need 6 stamping dies to create these seemingly simple parts. Magazine catch, of course, rear takedown pin, our bolt release, our change lever, which of course is a dummy one because of ATF regulation. Excuse me. You will notice that we are missing the auto and repetition markings as well as our dummy Enfield serial number. This is, again, pre-production prototype, so we needed to check fit and function, not necessarily do all the fancy other markings that are quite easily and simply done thereafter. But even the fonts we got correct and they will match the originals. In fact, our mission is to have some poor private in the British Army see these online and think, bloody hell, better check my rifles in my armory because they might be missing. Again, we've already had people think that these are MOD stampings, which is, to me, a compliment. So with that, let's go over the basic function of this rifle and the trigger and all that sort of stuff. So first of all, of course, you're going to hold the rifle like you normally would in your right hand. Shoulder the rifle and everything is almost turned on its side. You're using your left hand for all the operations of the rifle, kind of just switching it in between like this. One thing I'll say, again, the balance of this is perfect, the fit, the feel. The L85 is a soldering fieldcraft rifle. It is very well balanced, almost directly on the pistol grip, okay? And that's what makes it so good for fieldcraft and soldering. It was designed at a time when there was a specific mission for these, the Cold War, vehicle, urban operations, and I think it is perfect for the mission it was designed to do. So starting over here, we have our dust cover catch. So this, again, pre-production prototype, spring adjusted, just needs a little assistance there. Again, these are all the little details that we're working on right now. So to cock the weapon, we're going to simply bring it back with one hand. We can check the chamber is clear and you let it go. Safety, again, selector, safety is on. I'll press the trigger with this hand. Does not fire. We turn safety off. You can see now the trigger fires, okay? Reset it and fires. So what I'll do is I'll hold that down and we can now hear the reset. There we go. And fires, of course. Okay. And this has a really nice trigger. It's very crisp. We've designed it to be very, very short. The SA80 has a lot more movement. We designed ours to be very, very crisp. So you kind of have this wall because of the trigger bar, and then just cock it. So reset. You see you have a wall because of the trigger bar, and then right here you can see right there. So it's a very, very short throw, and then I'll do the reset right there. Okay, but very happy with the trigger. Again, we can dial this in and perfect it, but for the first go, couldn't be more happy. So there you go, there's the safety, firing function, and all things of that nature. The cocking handle, cock it one more time. And let's go ahead and strip down this rifle. So again, word on the function, of course, will be the bolt release. So ours just about nearly catches. That is one of those things that, of course, we're off by a hair of a millimeter. We're recutting the new bolt catch system and everything. It does work if we throw in the other one, the one I have in today, I was kind of fiddling with. Again, pre-production rifle, very, very first one. She wants to catch. As you can see, sometimes on a magazine she will. I can feel it, she just wants to catch. But of course, she won't. So that's one of those things that, again, you can try and do these things all you want, especially when dealing with sheet metal. You just don't know. So she does catch, oddly enough, on an open magazine. The bolt will hold it open after a shot, but this one right now, yeah, she's not really behaving today, I guess, in good old SA80 fashion. But it's the tiny little things like this that we can now review, and I'm internally grateful for that. Because what it means is it fires safely, it functions safely, the big things are there, she looks the part. Now it's just little things like the spring pressure on the ejection port cover, making the bolt catch a tiny bit higher, extending this pin. It's these super easy little things that, again, can't be more grateful for. So let's go ahead and strip this down. To begin field stripping, of course, we're going to make sure that the weapon is clear. which it is, and weapons on safe. Next, we're going to, easiest way to do this is to put it down on a muzzle. We're going to take out the forward takedown pin. Now these pins are captive on the original, they will be captive on our final one. Again, we're taking this apart so much, we need to analyze everything. So this is a big gotcha. When you separate the TMH, it's now pivoting on the upper here. The guide rod spring assembly is going to spring out, so make sure that you cup it with your hands like so. And then you can catch it without getting caught on my glove. Remove the TMH. We now have the guide rod assembly here. And now we can remove the bolt assembly. So to do this, just like the original, it comes back, cocking handle comes out, and then we can remove our bolt carrier. Inside the upper receiver, you're going to see a rail system. This is just like the original, and of course our chamber. Looking at the chamber now, this is essentially me just showing you an SA80. We have gone with the crush washer headspace design. This was incredibly difficult to engineer. It was unnecessary to engineer, but it means you get the authenticity of when you look at this, it is exactly as an SA80 looks. And bringing back this old way of doing things just adds to the character and difficulty of this rifle, which is why, again, with our collector series especially, you're getting a genuine SA80 experience. Up here we have our forward trunnion. This is where your TMH pivots, all of your lads in there. And all of these grooves, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, all align with the lower receiver. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, that all perfectly aligns. And again, these are all stamped intricacies. Details are exactly like the original. So we have our upper receiver now. We're going to go ahead and strip our gas system. To do this, we're going to crack our handguard like so. And we are first going to bring our recoil rod out. We call this the piston here. And then we're going to take this chap, the main rod, right here. Pull that aside. And of course our gas key, which we're going to press in and then remove like so. And there we go. This is a fully field stripped EM85, exactly like the original. Furthermore, we're going to take apart the bolt. So again, just like the original, we've got firing pin retaining pin with our little O-ring there. We'll remove our firing pin. You can see it's actually dirty from getting shot. I haven't taken or cleaned this rifle yet. So take this chap out, our cam pin now, and then right here we have our bolt with our spring. So because this is our testing one, we've actually opted to use an off-the-shelf bolt, and we've added a spring to ensure the working of everything, but the SA80 doesn't have one. You can use this with or without the spring. We just find it's easier getting into the rifle instead of forcing the cam pin forward, which I'll show you with an original SA80 bolt on another video. Okay, so this is it fully field stripped, of course. We have our lower right here. Again, everything in here has been stamped and it looks absolutely wonderful. The TMH can be removed, but this is exactly as an SA80 strips, and again, we couldn't be more proud. So to put it back together, we'll do the bolt first. So we're going to put this guy in. One key little note on the bolt is we're actually seeing the same wear patterns that the SA80 has on our bolt carrier. You see the very unique firing pin. You see the A2 marking, and you can actually see paint from the buffer over here start to form this U shape, which is exactly what happens on the original SA80. So what's really cool is you get these original wear marks starting to show on our bolt carrier that the originals had. First step is we're going to insert our gas key, so we're going to press down this plunger here. That fits in there. We're going to click it into the normal position. We then get our recoil rod. Now this guy you have to align with the chamber. I'm just going to get down here. And this guy can be a little bit fiddly. You just got to kind of find it. Easier way is to actually, if you just bring this up. And then you kind of just like look down there, and then with one finger you can hold it in place. And then that spring, we've actually made a little indent, which the original doesn't have, just to make this process a little bit easier. It is incredibly fiddly. On the original, I like to leave my rod right there. And then you get this guy. Your knurling goes rearward always. You place him over the piston, sorry, the gas key. And this guy you press in and down. There you go. Like so. And again, this is interchangeable with HK parts, which we'll do an original video on another video, but fully interchangeable with ours and HK's. Ours, of course, are identical. Okay, so now we've got a gas system in there. I'm going to move to our carrier. So just like on the real one, this is spring assisted, which is why we've opted to go with that route. It makes it easier. Otherwise, you need to press that cam pin forward. Again, you can remove the spring if you want to make your life a little bit more difficult. That goes over this guide rail. You then come around, you align the bolt carrier with this rear hole right here. Take your cocking handle, click it in. Again, original cocking handle, and you've got a nice positive click there. You then take your guide rod assembly with the spring, the main spring on the bottom. Get into the bolt. There we go. Put it up on a side, sorry, on a muzzle. You then insert this pin. Now this pin should be only just protruding like so to hold it in place, so your center TMH can obviously fit right through. We're going to take the upper and the lower. Again, everything nicely aligns here. It just rotates in like so. Align the top, click that through, and then your lower pin as well. And there you have it. So now we can do a functions check. On safe, good. Fire, good. Reset, resets it does. Perfect. Weapon on safe. So you have it. That is how you field strip the EM85. It is exactly the same as the L85. There is zero differences, and you can actually fit, again, original parts into this rifle, which we'll go over the differences we had to make for legality. Obviously only semi-automatic here in the States, but we are very, very proud. Couldn't be more proud, in fact, of this rifle. She looks the part, feels the part. And again, this is our first one, ladies and gentlemen. It is only going to improve from here. This one, of course, we have only done single shots through. We do not want to do any sort of, feeding from the magazine or anything like that, simply because we can't damage this one. Worst case that we can't make the other rifles in time or whatever it might be. We're just doing all of our perfecting corrections right now. We need this one for shows and things the like. But with that said, enough talking. Let's go ahead, fire a blank, fire a live round with the gas off, and then fire it with it on single shot, and you can see it function. But before we do that, let's show you inserting a magazine. Okay, so we have a plethora of magazines today. We're simply just going to insert them into the EM85 rifle. So first is your HK High Reliability magazine. Nice and positive. There. You have your EMAG, of course, used by the UK military. Your original RG magazine. So flimsy. Yeah, these are interesting. And of course, our blank firing magazine. Positive click right there. Very interesting design of these by HK. Stops you from putting live rounds in there. M4s can't accept them, only SA80. And now we have a Gen 3 magazine. So this is advertised SA80. At first I thought they were lying because your Gen 1s, Gen 2s, apart from the EMAG, won't fit the SA80. But this one does, which is really, really cool. So it actually means that you can use modern E magazines in your EM85 rifles, which is pretty cool. So there you have it. Lovely. All right, so this is EM85. Again, just a blank demonstrating that she does shoot. We're not putting this one through heavy testing like we will the other three. But yeah, gas system is on normal, and this is just one blank round. All right, lovely, of course. No recoil, no blank firing adapter. So let's go ahead and do a live round. So before we can do the live round, we first have to change over to off. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our HK tool, and then this guy slides in there. You indent the pin, you can put it on excess, but for this test, we are gonna be putting it on off. So there she is in the off position, locked in, just confirm that, which she is. And again, that's using the HK tool, and all the features like the gas reamer can be used on this rifle. Very nice little detail, again, for collectors, that as you use this rifle, you can use all the supportive equipment that was designed to be used with. So let's go ahead, load a live round and fire away. Okay, so here's one live round with gas off, so we're getting the maximum amount of gas down the barrel. Lovely. So now we're just going to change it from off to normal. So there's excess and there's normal. All right, so now we have it on normal, again, live round. Lovely, weapon on safe. So we have gas on excess now. I have a live round in the chamber. I'm just holding back the cocking handle because I want to demonstrate just the safety of the free float firing pin and all those aspects of the design. Obviously, this won't fire. If we designed it poorly, it would fire. But as you can see, she chambers fine, and that firing pin safely free floats so you don't get a slam fire. Little things like that that are important. So let's go ahead. This is again on excess gas. She's cocked, ready. Range is clear, so let's shoot her. Lovely. So there you have it. Proof is in the pudding. She does fire. Again, we're not doing magazine feeding. We just, as tempted as we are, our plan originally wasn't even to shoot live with this rifle, but we had to test if there was gas leakages, if all of our math was correct, and it was. Ladies and gentlemen, this rifle has been incredibly challenging. I've given it my all. It is an absolute passion project, and for me, I know that the UK won't be bringing kits in. Those rifles are getting destroyed, so this is the one opportunity the US market has at an absolute genuine SA80 rifle, so we had to get it absolutely right. Very happy that she shoots. The springs are custom. Everything in this rifle is custom. So it means that our math, our bolt velocities, our spring math was all correct, which again is an incredibly difficult challenge. We have an amazing group of talented individuals helping here at Murdoch and Co, and I can't thank them enough. I can't thank you all enough for the support. So what's next? Again, this is our very first rifle. Things will only get better from here. We're going to make the little improvements for the tiny little details that I mentioned earlier, and we're going to produce the next 3 rifles. And those we're going to be doing all of our heavy testing with. One thing I'd like to touch on is people think that you can go from concept to a rifle with 5,000 rounds through it. Ladies and gentlemen, that is not the case. You have to take things a step at a time. And here at Murdoch & Co, I think it's very rare that you get a new weapon that is unfamiliar to a lot of people, and we can actually share that development process of it from our In the White part series all the way to finished firing product. With that, with our collector series, we also have our production gun, the A3 coming. The same experience as this. It's going to have low profile gas block, free float barrel. It's going to have a Picatinny upper M-LOK rail system, FDE, to again bring you a genuine A3 SA80 experience in the EM85. So as I said, be patient with us. We are doing our best. We are absolutely giving this rifle our all. Zero compromise authenticity while still abiding by, of course, US semi-automatic law. Semi-automatic trigger system in here, semi-automatic bolt, while of course having a zero compromise external and ownership and manual of arms experience. Couldn't be more happy. We'll make the rest of the pre-production prototypes. We could have made them now, but I wanted to actually again, we're investing so much. We're remaking tooling just for our pre-production prototypes because we wanted to do it right. Our plan is to go directly from perfected pre-productions into production, and this is what this rifle is for. This is our first learning experience, and for a first attempt, I couldn't be more proud. So thank you all for the support. Again, if you want to support us, share our content. If you'd like a collector series rifle like this, these are limited edition. We are only making about 35 to 40 of them. So if you want one, please contact us. In collector series, that is with all of the original components. Again, original Enfield magwell that is physically welded into the gun that no other rifle in the world will have apart from Enfield made SA80s and the EM85s. The production gun, of course, is going to be 100% new made, but it is going to carry on from the EM85 series for a genuine ownership and SA80 experience for collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike. So I'd like to invite you all, if you have questions, please contact us and reach us. We are happy to talk. If you'd like to go on the wait list for the A3, you may do that at murdochandco.com. This has been an incredible process so far. I can't believe we've gotten this far, quite frankly, this quickly. I'm very, very proud, and it is an honor to bring the story of this service rifle and the story of those that served with this rifle to you all today. So with that, thank you so much again. I will see you on our next video, and we will continue posting about the development of this rifle, the EM85. Thank you, and take care.